Hey, what's going on? Today I'm going to be talking about this Dewalt tile saw here. This is the D24000S. So this is a wet tile saw made by Dewalt. Of course, you can tell by this bright yellow finish. I've had this tile saw for probably 6 years or so, and it has done a bunch of tile jobs and it has never given me any sort of problems. So I just wanted to give a quick rundown of the saw, all its features, how it works, the capacities, all that kind of stuff. Show how to change the blade and show you how to set it up, take it down, all that stuff. And it's very, very simple to use. So here we go. So it's really nice. It has this 2-rail system. So there's wheels on the bottom. This thing glides very easily, which is super nice. And what's also cool is it's got this spillover tray here with a drain down inside it, so all that water that comes onto this goes down into the main drain pan. And then the same thing here, there's a back drain pan that makes all the water come back down as well. And you can see this nice little flap on the back that contains all of the water that shoots out the back. So this thing does not make much of a mess at all versus those tabletop tile saws that shoot water everywhere. On the front here, you'll see there's a knob that lets you raise and lower the depth. So if you need to make a plunge cut, like if you had you're doing a backsplash and do an outlet or something, or I don't know, all sorts of stuff. Shower niche, I just did a shower niche. I need to do the plunge cut like that. It also has you can go 0, 22 degrees, 22.5, or 45 degrees. So to do that, there's this knob on the back you loosen, and then there you go, it flips like that. And you can see here there's 2 little stopper jobbers, so you can set this thing exactly to 0 and 45. So if you're making a lot of back and forth cuts, you know it's going to be right on. Then right here is your depth stop adjustment. So that is for how deep you're making your cuts. So I have it set so it obviously doesn't touch this, but you want to get it into the tile. Then right here we've got the tools that you need to change the blade and anything else that might go wrong with this thing. Okay, the blade change is super easy. Right here, use this Allen wrench, loosen this guy up, and you'll see once the head of the screw gets out past this black part here, then it will be able to lift right straight up. And it actually says on here which way is loosen and tighten, but it's just like a normal anything. So loosen is counterclockwise, tighten is clockwise. And right here by the handle, if you can see that, there's a black button here, that's the arbor lock. So you have to push that in to change the blade. Okay, so while pushing that in, I'm just gonna put the wrench on here, loosen that thing up. This will come right off, pull the blade out, put the new blade back on. One thing that's very important, is you do want to pay attention to this arrow and which direction the blade spins. So you want to make sure that that arrow is going in the direction that the blade spins. And then you just reverse the process here. Okay, so this little guy right here is the water jet. So you'll see it goes on both sides of the blade and you can adjust it to wherever you want it to be. There is also on the hose itself an adjuster, so you can clamp this thing down. If you've got too much water coming through, you can kind of like restrict it a little bit. So I'm just going to leave it on that first one. And basically the pump that comes with it, you just put in a bucket of water. I wish the hose was longer. I've actually been wanting to get a new hose and extend this because I have to keep it on another 5-gallon bucket because the pump doesn't go all the way down to the ground. So basically you put the clean water in the bucket, it sucks it up into the saw, and then just to show you, when you turn it on, Alright, so it also comes with a little, I don't know what to call this thing, a fence, a guide, and you can see there's a ruler built in here that is actually adjustable, so you could loosen these screws and slide this a little bit to get exactly right on. And basically you just line up the edge of this on this side with your ruler, and that gives you your cut. So if you're making a bunch of rough cuts or exact cuts, you know, you measure with your tape measure here if you're doing exact cuts, but rough cuts, if I'm doing 3 1/4, I can just set it right on that thing and run it, right? And what's also cool is it has this thing, so if you need to make a 45-degree angle, it does set you up to make an exact 45-degree angle. I also want to mention this right here. See these 3 holes? So on the side of this table here, there's like a little latchy guy, and you can lock this thing into place, if I can ever remember how to do it, like that. So you can get it to stay right there. So I'm not exactly sure what you would use that for, but I guess if you wanted to make a plunge cut and you wanted the table to just stay there so it didn't move, I guess that would be the way that you did that. And then there's one here as well, which is right at the back. And there's one at this end. So I really don't know what these are for. I've never used them. I don't know. Okay, so this thing is a beast. It will cut a 24-inch tile. Right? So this one's broken, so I'm just going to show you with it. See, this is a 24-inch tile, and yes, it does hang over the fence here, but it actually probably would cut a 25-inch tile if they made a 25. I don't know. It's basically when you're ready to start cutting, you just turn it on. So let's say you were making a notch in the wall for something. Okay, so you'll notice I just brought it as close as I could to that corner, and then what I will do is flip it over, and because this is what I need to look pretty, I will actually use a grinder on the backside to finish that off. Now if you wanted, you could do this. Just get it lined right up really good. Same thing here. And obviously I do want to overcut it if I'm cutting it on the backside. And then so basically that should just snap free. And you've got a nice perfect 90-degree cut, and I can just clean that up with a grinder or a sanding block, and it's good to go. I'm also going to put a link in the description for this thing if you're interested in checking it out. You can also go to my website, borsellinocarpentry.com, and I have a whole gear page there with all sorts of tools and stuff that I use if you want to see what I use. But this is on both of those if you want to check it out. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to clean up the saw. It is a wet saw, so basically just hose it down. And there are grooves everywhere in this thing, little holes, so any water finds its way down into the main trap. And then you just lift it up, just like a drawer slide. Same thing here, give the hose down. And I'm going to put the little pump right there on that little tray, wind up the cords. Okay, then there's a little plug here. We're just gonna loosen it up, pull that out, the water drain out. And I have a 5-gallon bucket right underneath that gets all that water. You won't be able to get it all out like this, so here's what I do. Put the plug back in. I've got that bucket down there, remember? So I'm just gonna pull the tray up and lean it right in the thing like that, and then we gotta dump this out in the woods. Alright, so that is the Dewalt D24000S wet tile saw. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this saw, and yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.